Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 7th of March, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar. Dollar sinking lower. Announcements of more resignations in the White House last night has affected that, and we're just seeing that dollar sinking lower. So we're still in bearish mode on all three charts on the dollar index, remembering that that's a weighted average against all currencies. And we're seeing here the euro dollar is actually stronger as a result of that weaker dollar and just testing the resistance there. A shortage of upside targets there on the long-term chart, which is just making it harder to read, but it is bullish. The Japanese yen, the dollar sinking lower here as well. Quite a lot of downside targets here to play for, so looks like we will see the dollar hitting new lows, taking really multi-year lows, just seeing 15-month lows. Now that 100 yen level coming under pressure in the coming weeks. Sterling looking a bit stronger on that weakened dollar, but still bearish on this point and figure chart. So as much as we've recovered a little bit, we've struggled to get back into the 140s. And against the euro, we're seeing sterling lower as well. And against the Swiss franc, we are holding a bullish trend here, but lots of downside targets on the short-term chart. And against the Aussie dollar, fairly flat, sitting at this 178 level for quite some time now. Bitcoin down quite significantly yesterday, back into bearish trend. I tweeted that as it happened, and so we are just seeing downside targets here. This downside target of 10,496 was met. Again, we tweeted that when that target was given. So Bitcoin just looking bearish in the short term at the moment. The S&P 500 index just holding its position, so looking okay. And the Nasdaq 100 much the same, just holding its position. So markets really just trying to break higher, but not yet managing to do so. The Dow also up very slightly yesterday, and the Russell 2000 index actually put in a stronger performance, up nearly 1% on the day. So that's looking better, and this recovery looking like it may well occur. The futures this morning, the S&P 500 future down about 1%. That White House news hitting aftermarket, and same with the Nasdaq E-mini, just again falling lower. So it does look like the US markets will be spooked by this and will open lower. Looking at the FTSE 100 index, up this morning on a stronger Wall Street showing, but again the futures will have an impact there, and really the European market's just not showing that same recovery. We're seeing that here with the FTSE 250 as well, just struggling to get through the cloud. Taking a look at the German market, the German DAX is up very slightly this morning, but again really sitting in the doldrums here, just trying to recover and turning away again. So key thing is it's bearish below the cloud on this short and medium term. Europe just generally looking not as resilient as the US, and we're seeing that same thing with the CAC 40 in Paris. We're just seeing that market lower and bearish, very similar to the German chart, as you might expect. Tokyo, we saw the Japanese market just falling away there. Really now becoming very clear that we've got a cloud transition on the Nikkei 400, and the same with the Hang Seng. We're just now starting to come through on the short-term chart, not yet on the medium-term chart, but starting to look more bearish. The Chinese market just struggling to recover and still just staying in that bearish mode. And India's market has actually been pretty bearish in the short term, downside targets, and just falling away there on that medium term chart, so not looking as good either. And the Australian market also just been spooked by everything that's happening in the US, and that's off 1% as well, so we're bearish in the short term. Brent crude down about 0.8% this morning, but just holding its bull trend. Just also WTI just holding its bull trend as well, but struggling. US nat gas sitting at $2.76 and still just sitting in this bull trend. We've got targets 276, 277, 283, 281. Nothing very spectacular there, but we are just looking like we're going to target. Taking a look at the US 10-year yield, This was quite key yesterday, and we are just back above the cloud here. So it'll be interesting to see how bond yields react to that news as well. Just taking a look at gold. Gold jumped on the news yesterday, and we really did see a big move there. And silver also looking strong as well. So short term on precious metals is outlook's looking better than it has been. And in fact on gold, we see here we've got a new upside target to 1375. If we could get to 1375, that would start to break the long-term resistance level. That target not yet activated on gold, of course. Taking a look at the tech majors, we saw that Apple was very slightly down. Amazon is still looking like the strong performer of the big tech majors, hitting that up another 1%. So just holding that $1,500 level on Amazon, remembering that $1,000 wasn't so long ago. We're just seeing that ascent in Amazon just continuing, really strong few months there and making new highs. So that's looking very bullish. Google has been struggling a little bit below the cloud. So that is just still a situation to watch, but it is looking like it's recovering. Facebook just back below the 180 level, just can't stay in the 180s. Really a lot of sideways movement on Facebook in the last few months. And Microsoft also, the trend here very much intact, continuing to rise, but that short-term chart just coming a little bit under pressure. Today's markets will be interesting with that White House resignation. That seems to be what's overhanging things at the moment. So keep an eye on those futures. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.